Have you ever reached a moment in life when the world around you grows quieter, but your thoughts become louder? Maybe you woke up on a birthday, your 60th, 65th, or even 70th, and felt the weight of time settle on your shoulders, heavier than ever before. You look in the mirror, notice a few new lines, and realize that the person staring back at you is carrying a lifetime's worth of stories, heartbreak, laughter, and quiet fears. This is the hidden territory of life after 60, a place filled with wisdom, but also unexpected emotions, truths no one warns you about. Maybe you expected physical changes, gray hair, slower steps, the odd ache in your knees. But what about the deep emotional shifts that sneak up quietly? The ones that come when friends drift away, children move out, or your daily routines suddenly change. Nobody hands you a map for this part of life. You're left to discover it for yourself, sometimes with grace, sometimes with heartbreak. Today I want to walk with you through 7 emotional truths after 60 no one warns you about. These are not just facts or statistics. They're real stories, lived experiences, and lessons collected from seniors around the world. You'll hear echoes of your own journey and maybe discover new ways to make peace with this beautiful, complicated stage of life. It's a Sunday morning. Sunlight filters through the curtains and the house is quiet, almost too quiet. You reach for your phone, scroll past old messages, and wonder why time feels so different now. There's a bittersweet feeling in your chest. It's not quite loneliness, but not quite contentment either. Maybe you spend the day with a familiar routine, making coffee, tending your plants, reading the paper. But behind every small task is a ripple of reflection. Who am I now? What still matters? What do I do with the feelings that nobody ever warned me about? If you're nodding along, you're not alone. Let's talk about these emotional truths together, with honesty and compassion. Truth 1. The quiet ache of invisible loss. One of the first emotional truths many people feel after 60 is the quiet ache of invisible loss. Not just the loss of friends or family members, which sadly becomes more common as the years pass, but also the loss of routines, roles, and small certainties you once took for granted. Take Margaret, for example. For 40 years, she worked as a nurse, her days filled with purpose, her phone always ringing. But after retirement, the calls grew fewer, her days less structured. She found herself wandering the house, dusting the same shelves, feeling strangely invisible. The world kept spinning, but she felt left behind. These losses don't always come with funerals or goodbyes. Sometimes they're the small moments, no longer being needed, no longer being asked for advice, no longer having somewhere urgent to go. It's the ache of not being seen in the way you once were. What's surprising is how common this is and how rarely people talk about it. There's a myth that life after 60 is a time of pure freedom and relaxation, but the reality is more nuanced. It's a time of letting go and searching for new forms of meaning. If you felt this quiet ache, let yourself grieve, but also look for tiny ways to reconnect, volunteer, mentor, start a small project. Sometimes meaning returns in unexpected forms if you're open to it. Truth 2. The surprising depth of loneliness, even when you're not alone. Loneliness after 60 can feel like a shadow that follows you, even in a crowded room. You might be surrounded by family, friends, or neighbors, but still feel isolated by experiences and memories that no one else fully shares. John, a widower, lives with his adult daughter and her family. Their house is lively, with laughter and children running through the halls. But at night, John sits by his window, staring at the moon, longing for the late-night conversations he used to share with his wife. No one else understands those silences, the comfort of a hand in his. Loneliness isn't always about being physically alone. It's about longing for deep emotional connections that have faded or can never be replaced. After 60, many people outlive their closest friends and siblings. Shared history becomes rarer, and you may feel like a stranger among even the people you love. Try reaching out to others who might be experiencing the same thing. Join a club, start a support group, or even share a story with a stranger. Sometimes connection grows in the most unlikely places. Truth 3. The unexpected return of old regrets and what-ifs. Another truth that catches many off guard. The past comes back in waves. Old regrets, missed opportunities, and what-ifs become louder, sometimes keeping you awake at night. Evelyn always dreamed of traveling the world, but she chose stability marrying young, raising children, working in the family business. Now at 68, she sits by her window, watching planes fly overhead, wondering what might have been. These feelings don't mean you're ungrateful for your life. They're simply part of growing older, your mind sifting through memories, trying to make sense of the journey. Studies show that after 60, the brain naturally revisits unfinished emotional business. It's a way of seeking closure, meaning, and peace. Instead of fighting these feelings, embrace them. Write your story, talk to old friends, or find a way to honor the dreams you set aside. It's never too late to find small adventures or new beginnings. Truth 4. The joy and pain of watching others move on. One of the most profound emotional truths after 60 is watching the people you love move on, children leaving home, friends relocating, or grandchildren growing into their own lives. Frank spent years as the family anchor. His house was always the gathering place for holidays, birthdays, and spontaneous dinners. But over time, his kids started their own traditions, and the big family gatherings became less frequent. Frank felt proud, but also deeply sad, a bittersweet mix that surprised him. There's joy in seeing your loved ones thrive, but it can also leave you feeling untethered. You become both a witness and a participant in your family's evolution. This is a natural, healthy process. Letting go doesn't mean you're losing your family. It means you're making space for their growth in your own new chapters. Celebrate their independence, but also invest in your own. Find rituals, hobbies, or circles of friends that are yours alone. You're allowed to mourn the old ways and embrace the new. Truth 5. The battle between wisdom and vulnerability. After 60, many people discover a new kind of wisdom, a gentle knowing that can only come from decades of experience. But alongside that wisdom comes vulnerability. You may become more aware of your limits, fears, and the unpredictability of life. Consider Lisa, who became the go-to advisor in her community. Neighbors came to her for advice on everything from gardening to grief. But privately, Lisa struggled with health problems and a fear of losing her independence. She felt caught between wanting to help others and needing help herself. Wisdom and vulnerability are two sides of the same coin. With age, you see the world more clearly, but also feel its fragility more acutely. It's okay to admit when you need support. Asking for help doesn't diminish your wisdom, it adds to it. Let your wisdom guide you, but don't be afraid to lean on others. Interdependence is not a weakness. It's part of being fully human. Truth 6. The unspoken anxiety about time left. Few people talk openly about the anxiety that comes with realizing your time is finite. There's a quiet ticking in the background of your days, a sense that each moment matters more than ever. Samuel, age 74, describes waking up every morning with a rush of urgency. He keeps a list of things he wants to do. Visit his old college friends. Write letters to his grandchildren. Finish a painting that's been in his closet for years. But sometimes the fear of running out of time makes him anxious, even paralyzed. This anxiety is not about being morbid. It's about wanting your remaining days to count. Psychologists call this mortality salience. It can either cause distress or motivate you to live more intentionally. Acknowledge the feeling, but don't let it overwhelm you. Focus on what's most meaningful. Let go of the small stuff and savor the present. Remember, legacy isn't built in a day, it's woven from everyday choices. Truth 7. The surprise of finding new joy in unexpected places. Here's the final beautiful truth. After 60, joy doesn't always come from the places you expected. It might arrive in a quiet afternoon walk, a cup of tea with a neighbor, or the laughter of a great-grandchild. Clara, who once found purpose in her career, now finds deep happiness in painting watercolors in her backyard. She's not famous, and her work may never hang in a gallery. But the peace and satisfaction she feels are richer than any applause she once dreamed of. The sources of joy often shift as you grow older. Achievements fade, and simple pleasures rise to take their place. Happiness after 60 isn't about chasing youth or clinging to the past. It's about discovering beauty in the ordinary, the everyday, and the present moment. Let yourself be surprised. Stay curious, open-hearted, and grateful for every unexpected delight. Life after 60 isn't the end of your story. It's a chapter full of hidden treasures. You've listened to stories of invisible loss, the ache of loneliness, old regrets, bittersweet pride, wisdom and vulnerability, anxiety about time, and the rediscovery of unexpected joy. Maybe you saw yourself in some of these stories, or maybe you're still writing your own. Take a deep breath. What do these truths mean for you? How can you be kinder to yourself and more open to the gifts this season of life has to offer? Here's what no one tells you. Life after 60 is not about slowing down or fading away. It's about growing into the fullness of who you are, warts, wisdom, and all. There will be losses, yes. There will be long nights, silent afternoons, and bittersweet memories. But there will also be mornings filled with birdsong, afternoons rich with laughter, and quiet evenings of deep contentment. Remember, you are still here. Your story is not over. Your heart is capable of new love, new purpose, and new joy no matter how many years have passed. So if you're facing one of these emotional truths today, don't turn away. Let it be your teacher. Let it deepen your compassion, broaden your wisdom, and remind you, you are not alone on this path. Embrace the truths no one warned you about. Let them guide you to a life richer, wiser, and more authentic than you ever imagined. Thank you for joining me on this journey. If these stories touched your heart, share them with someone who needs to hear them. We are stronger always when we walk this road together.